This is just a quick video about installing the TACO GS390 mounts. I'm installing them today in a Parker 23 SE with a hardtop. So I already got the mounts, the plates built into the hardtop frame, and it was easiest for me to just go ahead and drill the 4 holes using this is a template. The hole they want you to drill here is 3 1/8 inch hole, and that's the same size as this, so you can't come from the bottom side. I'll tell you how I solved for that through the top. So what I did was I took the 4 holes that I had already drilled from the bottom using the frame as a template. I drew an X center to center across. That gave me my center point. With that center point, I ran a small bit straight through and saw where it came out on the bottom side to see if it looked like it came out center, which it did. So then I did take a 3 1/2 inch hole saw, came from the top side using that hole as my guide, and went straight through. And as you can see, it came out nearly perfectly aligned with the existing hole that was in the frame. You can see that kind of orangish looking color. What I did was I went ahead and put resin around the inside. You want to do this anytime you cut through a floor or a top or anything like that, especially if it's wood, just to basically seal that wood. I mean, you can see this has got some ply right there, and with that, when you got it sealed with the epoxy, in addition to putting a sealant when you mount it, that'll help you keep the water out. So as you see here, what I did was these holes were 5/16 is what they tell you to drill for, but because it's a hard top, to keep this from compressing, they supply you with these black pieces of tube that I'll show you in a minute. They actually act as they're hard, so they keep the top from compressing and causing spider cracks around your holes. You know, they've done a good job at TACO supplying what you basically need. They supply you with some bolts, but they're not long enough for me going through the top and bottom plates. So I got these longer 2 inch 5/16 bolts, and they'll go straight through into both the top and bottom mounts. Here, I'll show you what's kind of supplied in the kit. Like I said, it comes with these as inserts, and as you can see, what I did was I would insert it in, mark it, cut it off, and I had one for all 4 holes on each side. You got your top plate, so that bolt that I mentioned earlier is going to go through the top plate, through the T-top, hard top, and then out that bottom plate that's built into the frame, and then I'll install the rest of this. I'm still working on the one on the other side. I'm using a sealant. I prefer the Loctite Marine over the 3M. The reason is that 3M, you don't want to use 5200 because that's a below waterline, basically permanent sealant. You want something that you can eventually get loose. 3M makes a 4000 or a 4200 to work pretty good. I think Loctite Marine is just an equivalent, and I can find it locally. So let me walk you back here. So I just dropped this. I dropped that mount right through that hole, and it fit perfectly in that right through that mount. And so once I get this mounted in, like I said, I'll clean it. I'm gonna clean that surface with some alcohol, And then once I get a surface cleaned up with some alcohol, I'll put a bead of that Loctite down, and then I'll be able to mount my 4 holes, and I'll be ready to go. I just got to put the poles in, rig everything else out. I didn't want to get in all that because there's other videos, of course, out there for that. But again, there were so many things about this, the GS390, that I just really couldn't find. One of the instructions tells you need to have 9.5 inches of clearance from this mount. Well, as you can see, it says from any vertical pole. Well, there's a vertical pole, and it certainly is closer than 9.5 inches. Well, again, the instructions are not clear. They mean 9.5 inches outbound, not 9.5 inches all the way around. So a little bit confusing. Like I said, you can see I've got room for the crank. I mean, anything else, they make a plate that'll offset it slightly. If you wanted to buy those, are roughly about $150 for those plates. They'll level it on top. Not necessary for me, but if I was running much closer on that handle, if I got that, it would kick it out just enough to give me the room needed. Hope this video has been helpful. If you want to see more content, just like and subscribe and let me know. I mean, I do most of my maintenance on my 4-strokes myself. On this boat, I've got a 200 Yamaha. I do it all myself, all the oil changes, all the everything needed, the filter change. As you can see, that one's 22, so it's due for a change. And then I've got that Yamaha 150, which is basically the same motor. So like I said, I'll walk through and do water pump changes, oil changes, whatever you folks would like to see. Just let me know, and thank you for joining.